Mew friend, a bombshell declaration just exploded on the internet and it's shaking Philadelphia from one end to the other. A former NFL elite player just said that Jalen Hurts, the quarterback who has a Super Bowl ring to his name, was simply never a real threat to opposing defenses. And the worst part? This guy has the numbers to back up everything he's saying. Stay with me until the end of this video, because this story goes way beyond a simple trash talk, my friend. I'm going to tell you everything about this controversial statement, who the man behind the words is, what the Eagles are facing behind the scenes right now, and what all of this means for Jalen Hurts' future in Philadelphia. But before we dive headfirst into this story, if you're a die-hard Eagles fan and you want to stay on top of every move this franchise makes, hit that like button and subscribe right now, because the situation in Philadelphia is hotter than ever, and you're going to need to be up to date on every single detail. The name on everybody's lips is Levante David, the linebacker who spent more than a decade terrorizing quarterbacks across the NFL wearing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers jersey. David is one of the most respected defensive players of his generation, a guy who got up close and personal with the best quarterbacks in the league, literally just a few yards away. And when someone with Levante David's resume opens his mouth to talk about a quarterback, the NFL world stops to listen. In a recent interview on the Arena Gridiron podcast, David went straight to the point without any kind of ceremony. According to him, when Tampa Bay was preparing to face the Eagles, Jalen Hurts simply was not the main focus of their defensive concerns. The Buccaneers' game plan was basically to confine Hurts to the pocket, force him to read the defense, understand the coverages, and just let him try to win the game on his own merits. In David's view, forcing Hurts to be a pure quarterback, relying entirely on his reading of the game and his passing accuracy, was exactly the strategy Tampa Bay used against him. And here is the stat that makes this declaration hit even harder. The results against Tampa Bay give Levante David every right to say what he said. Jalen Hurts holds a record of just 2 wins and 4 losses against the Buccaneers throughout his career. That is a number that stings, especially when we're talking about the quarterback who led the Eagles to a Super Bowl title. And to make things worse, it was Tampa Bay itself that eliminated Philadelphia in the playoffs at the end of the 2023 season. So when Levante David says that the Eagles were an opponent that Buccaneers defenses faced with confidence, he is not just talking to talk. He has the results to back up that narrative. But hold on, because the Eagles' story in 2025 and 2026 goes far beyond a controversial statement from a former player. The situation inside the NovaCare complex is more complicated than most people realize, and a recent ESPN investigation pulled back the curtain to reveal internal tensions that no fan wanted to see. According to the ESPN report, Jalen Hurts has been exercising significant influence over the Eagles' offensive decisions, to the point of overriding offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo at critical moments during the 2025 season, including on the final play of the year. Think about that for a second. We're talking about a quarterback who, according to internal sources, was resisting updates to the offensive scheme, preventing the team from modernizing its approach to the game. Is that or is that not a concerning development for a franchise that just won a Super Bowl the season before? And the results on the field reflected those internal problems. After the glorious title in 2024, the Eagles collapsed the following season, being eliminated in a deeply disappointing fashion in the NFC wildcard round by the Los Angeles Rams in 2025. The fall was as dramatic as it was unexpected for a franchise that seemed to be on the cusp of a dynasty. And now, with the locker room's inner workings exposed by the press, the questions about Hurts' role in that decline are unavoidable. The organization's response was immediate. The Eagles fired Kevin Patullo and brought in Sean Mannion as the new offensive coordinator. It is a significant shakeup that sends a clear signal that the franchise is trying to break from the problems of the past and redirect the team's course. But the big question that hangs in the air is this: is a coordinator change enough if the problem runs deeper than technical leadership? Because there is another element in this story that is creating massive waves in Philadelphia. A.J. Brown, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL when he is on the field, is actively pushing for a trade. Brown wants out of the Eagles. That is an alarm bell that nobody can ignore. An elite receiver like Brown, someone who has the ability to transform any offensive attack in the league, choosing to walk away from that situation says a lot about the environment that exists inside the franchise right now. If a player of Brown's caliber would rather start from scratch somewhere else than continue alongside Jalen Hurts, that raises serious questions about the locker room dynamics and the future of the Eagles' offense. But what makes the situation even more complex is the financial side of things. Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk was surgical in his analysis, pointing out that the very existence of the ESPN report may be a signal that the Eagles are preparing to play hardball with Hurts. Jalen Hurts is under contract through 2028, but here is the number that changes everything. After this season, the dead money penalty would drop to around $67 million, a figure that could be spread over 2 years if the transaction happened after June 1st. It is a difficult road, but mathematically possible for the Eagles if they decide to go in a different direction. And that scenario raises one of the most uncomfortable questions Eagles fans have ever had to face. Is the franchise actually considering a world without Jalen Hurts? That would have been unthinkable 12 months ago, when Hurts was lifting the Lombardi Trophy with the eagle on his chest the season before. But professional football is ruthless, my friend, and the NFL has no sentimental memory. Let's take a step back and put everything in perspective. Jalen Hurts is a quarterback who arrived in Philadelphia while still young, put the team on his shoulders, and took them to the very top of the mountain. He is a uniquely gifted athlete, a powerful runner, a leader who inspires his teammates. But Levante David's criticism touches on a point that analysts from inside and outside the league have been discussing for years. Does Hurts have the tools to be an elite quarterback in the purest sense of the word, when the team cannot rely on his athleticism and needs him to read and dissect complex defenses purely through the air? That is exactly why David's declaration hits so hard. When an elite linebacker says that the game plan was simply to force Hurts to go head-to-head with the defense using nothing but his arm and his reads, that puts a finger on an old wound. And when that strategy results in a record of 2 wins and 4 losses, including a playoff elimination, the questions are completely legitimate. The Eagles' situation in 2026 is a complex puzzle with pieces moving in multiple directions at the same time. You have a Super Bowl champion quarterback whose leadership is being questioned both on and off the field. You have a new offensive coordinator trying to implement changes in a scheme that the quarterback himself may have resisted in the past. You have an elite wide receiver pushing to get out. And you have analysts and former players pointing to real gaps in Hurts' arsenal as a passer. What will Howie Roseman's next move be in the face of this scenario? Will the franchise give Jalen Hurts a full vote of confidence and work to rebuild the team around him? Or are the Eagles quietly opening doors to explore the market and consider alternatives? And will A.J. Brown actually get the trade he's been pushing for, weakening Philadelphia's offense even further? With all of these uncertainties hovering over the NovaCare complex, what do you think is the best strategy for the Eagles in 2026? Should the Eagles go all in on Jalen Hurts and rebuild the roster around him, or is it time to make a bold move and open a brand new chapter for the franchise? Drop your opinion in the comments because I want to know what you think. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single update on the Eagles. I'll be back later to keep you updated with the latest news out of Philadelphia.